So you made it to the second date, which means congratulations are in order. You're officially more interesting than their dog, their divorce, and their DoorDash account. Nicely done. But here's the thing about second dates. That's when people start to get weird. They're either trying too hard or they completely forget to try at all. They monologue, they overshare, some even bust out that creepy polite voice. You know the one. People use it with customer service reps and toddlers. And then my people text like, Carey, I don't get it. Why didn't I get a third date? I thought it went so well. No, you didn't. You could tell. So today we're going to talk about what not to do on a second date. Because the first one, that just got you in the door. The second one, that's your callback. And if you blow the callback, babe, there's no pilot episode. If that's at all interesting or intriguing, I hope that you'll stick around because that's what's on the agenda. Yeah, you want to be authentic, you want to be real, but your second date isn't the place to unpack your childhood trauma or tell the story about your ex's affair. This isn't a therapy session, it's a vibe check. You're just trying to see if you can sit across from each other and enjoy a little food, a little drink, have a great conversation that doesn't require a crisis hotline. People think being vulnerable means showing all their scars right away. Like if they lay it all on the table there, the other person will see how deep and serious they are. But vulnerability isn't about dumping at all. It's about revealing thoughtfully in small doses and at the right time. When you overshare too early, you put the other person in a really weird spot. They don't even know you yet. They haven't even decided if they like you, and now they're being asked to carry emotional weight for a stranger? Instead, stay in the present. Talk about what's good in your life right now. What you're learning, what you're excited about. Because that kind of energy draws people in. It creates curiosity, not caution signs. And then let things unfold naturally. Don't rush it. Definitely don't hand them all the skeletons before your entree. By now you've got a little context, a little shared reference or two, maybe even an inside joke. And that's your cue to build something. A second date isn't a rerun. It's not the time to dust off the same 3 charming stories or ask them the same questions that they've already answered. And yet that's what a lot of people do. They're nervous, so they go back to their greatest hits, or they feel pressure to be interesting again, and they default to safe topics like travel and jobs. But the thing is, if the first date is about chemistry, the second one is about figuring out potential. This is where you're asking, can we actually talk? Do we speak the same language? Do we spark new things in each other? Is this a conversation I'd look forward to again? You got to take the risk. Share something that you didn't say last time and ask a question that you genuinely want the answer to. Not one that you memorized from in your phone or from My List of 33 or something that your mom gave you she cut out of the newspaper. Because real intimacy isn't built by repeating yourself. It's built when you say something that makes the other person lean in and shows that you are paying attention. So when you walk into a coffee shop so often, they just know your order? That's what subscribing is like. You're officially part of the crew. And if you become a channel member too, it's like you got the secret handshake as a bonus. You instantly become one of the cool kids. So before we get back to the episode, if you could just hit those buttons, I'll save you a seat and maybe even share my muffin. Okay, now back to the episode. And this one kills me. People show up to second dates with all kinds of weird ideas on how they're supposed to act, especially if they like the person. So instead of showing genuine interest, they act guarded, kind of bored sometimes, or, they turn into the polite version of themselves that they bring to dentist appointments. I don't know, I think they think that they're being cool, but what they're actually being is confusing. Because here's the truth. Attraction doesn't need to be disguised. You don't need to play it cool to be attractive. You just need to be real. And a little warm, sure. If you like them, show it. Smile, ask thoughtful questions, and let them know you're enjoying yourself and that you're glad you showed up today. You don't need to launch into a TED talk on your feelings, but also don't hide behind ambivalence either, because if someone leaves the date thinking, oh, well, they were nice, I just couldn't tell if they were into me, then you failed the vibe check. People are drawn to certainty and to kindness, to energy that says, I'm here, I'm interested, and I like this. And if it's mutual, that kind of openness is incredibly attractive. Not at all needy, not overeager. It's emotionally mature. So go ahead, be honest. And if you like them, let it show. You would want them to do that for you, wouldn't you? Do unto others. Second dates are often when people start wondering if there's chemistry here. Like if this is a follow up to a first date where you're not certain that there is physical chemistry, I always tell clients you have to go on a second date to figure out in which direction that's going. And that's the other reason that you can't repeat what you did on your first date. You're not going to be able to figure out whether chemistry is growing or not if you're just watching them do the exact same thing that they did on your first get together. You want to see them out in the world and how they carry themselves and how they navigate. And that's why your second date is always going to be doing something other than whatever you did on your first date. And that's where physical contact might come in. A light touch on the arm, a hand on the back, or a hand over theirs, a longer moment of eye contact. But here's the thing. Chemistry is unique to every connection. So just because you feel a spark doesn't mean that they do too. Connection is personal and it's got to be mutual. You don't get to assume that just because you're feeling it, the other person is too. So watch their reactions and read the cues. Respect their pace. I learned this a long time ago watching a very early episode of The Bachelor. One of the women was being interviewed during the show and said, I'm not at all worried about all these other women being here because I feel that we have an amazing chemistry and I know he feels it too. So I know I'm not going home. I'll be here for quite a while. And then they immediately cut to him having his little interview and he said, yeah, Jessica, she's a really great girl. Unfortunately, I just don't feel any chemistry for her. Doesn't necessarily mean the other person feels it just because you do. So yeah, be warm, be open, but don't be weird. Let physical connection emerge naturally and only if it feels mutual. And if it doesn't, that's okay. It might be rejection, and if so, then eventually we're going to thank them for letting us know early on, not wasting our time. But it also might just be that they take more time to feel physically comfortable with someone. Either way, it's information. And information is how you learn about this person. So, welcome to dating like a grown-up. This happens all the time, especially when people want to do something different for a second date. They end up booking tickets to a comedy show or a concert or dinner at the loudest tapas bar in town, where the menu has 0 vowels and the music is a full body experience. And look, I know you didn't go on a coffee date for your first date because why would you tempt fate or annoy the first date gods by bringing this precious human to a low effort, low energy, low everything coffee shop? Especially when your friend, dating coach, matchmaker has told you repeatedly that in over a decade of monitoring, advising, and analyzing thousands of dates, not one long-term romance she's ever seen started with a coffee date. So no, you didn't do that because you know better. But now you're on the second date and it's tempting to default to fun. I mean, you've seen the movies, you've watched the shows, you think you know what dating is supposed to look like, but most of the time, they're showing you what dating looks like later on, not on date number 2. You're still in the discovery phase and you don't need fun. You need interaction. That bucket list of great date ideas, yeah, hold on to that. You're going to get there, I'm sure of it. Save the comedy show, the live jazz, the wine tasting, riverboat for when you already like being around each other, when the silence is comfortable, when a glance across the room actually says something. Because now you know what each other's glances mean in that situation. You can't share a knowing look with somebody you don't even know yet. Because this is still a getting to know you date. It's date number 2. You're not finishing each other's sentences yet. You're still figuring out how they finish their drink orders. So when you're planning that second date, ask yourself, Will we actually get to talk? And if the answer is no, then back up, turn around, tap your toes 3 times, do the Macarena, and take 3 moves back to date number 2. Keep it simple and intentional. The best second date is the one where you leave thinking, I want to hear more of what they have to say. I know dating is work, but it does get easier. But not today, not yet. The second date isn't a victory lap, it's a shift. It's when the nerves finally start to settle and you're not sitting there wondering if they can see your heart beating through your shirt anymore. You're not in fight or flight mode anymore. You've actually graduated to freeze or flop. What? I don't know. I'm trying to say that you're allowed to not worry about whether you're breathing too loudly. I hope this gave you something to think about before your next second date or helped explain why that last one didn't turn into a third. I hope you found it interesting. If you did, you might want to check out this episode here. And also, hey, before you go, please give my little mama, right there, it's my mom, give her a thumbs up. She still thinks I host a cooking show. She tells her friends I'm on the Food Network. Let's just not crush her. And as always, thanks for hanging out with me today. Until next time, have a good one.